In the wake of this horrific shooting in Buffalo, New York, where 10 innocent people lost their lives. I want to bring in Congressman Brian Higgins of New York. He represents Buffalo, and he joins me on the line right now. And Congressman, I understand you just left the scene of the shooting. What was it like being there?
Mixed emotions, anger, frustration, empathy. People are sad. Buffalo is a city of good neighbors, and we are a good community. And, the eyes of the nation are on Buffalo today. Those eyes are filled with tears and sympathy. And Buffalo is filled with a sense of we need justice on this issue. It was a very sad day. It has been identified by law enforcement officials as a racially motivated act of domestic terrorism. The suspect, who has been apprehended, has been now charged with murder in the first degree in New York State, but there will be other federal charges pending.
Have you been briefed on the latest in the investigation?
I have, by law enforcement officials at the federal, state, and local level. And, they're still compiling information. Not everything, but many things are inconclusive at this point. But it's certainly moving in a direction that seems to be, cohesive in terms of the motivation. This was an individual that was from outside our area. He was not from Buffalo. He came to Buffalo heavily armed with at least an AK-47 that was modified, killed 10 people. 3 people are in the hospital, expected to recover. But this is a sad day for Buffalo, and a sad day for the nation. It's a continuation of what we have seen, and until a community, this situation exacts itself on a community, you don't realize that it's a problem that's pervasive and growing.
Yeah, I think one of the eyewitnesses said on our air that he heard gunshots and he didn't think it could be true. He said, I didn't think this actually happens. This was going to actually happen in my neighborhood right outside of our community grocery store. And yet it did. And there was just a sense of shock across the country. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, look, there's premeditation, and when you make a charge against somebody, you have to put all those pieces together. But even in the preliminary information that we have, clearly this is an individual that selected Buffalo, selected an area of Buffalo that is predominantly African American from outside the area. That is not coincidental, and we believe, and law enforcement officials believe, that this is part of an organized effort to attack the minority community generally, and the community of Buffalo as its target.
When you say part of an organized effort, what do you mean by that?
That there is an element in our society that is blatantly racist, and they're violent. And this is clearly an indication of domestic violence. There was, he live streamed the horrific detail in real time of this murder of innocent people. These people were grocery store workers, by and large. They left their homes this morning expecting fully to come home at the end of the day, and these 10 individuals are leaving families that they'll never be reunited again with and it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy.
Do you know how many of them actually worked at the grocery store versus just shoppers going to get their food for the week?
That wasn't known. I mean, there were bodies in the grocery store, and the coroner and medical examiner was on site. Some are believed to be workers, some are believed to be customers of the store. But obviously, you don't view a supermarket as a dangerous place, particularly on a Saturday afternoon at 2:30. And so all indications are this points to an effort to exact domestic terrorism that is racially motivated on a community. But that threat to our community in Buffalo and Western New York is a threat to the nation.
Yeah, no, for sure. I want to just go back to a couple of things you said. You said it was clear that he selected Buffalo and selected this grocery store. And I'm wondering what more you can tell us, because we heard from the governor that the suspect came from Broome County. And what evidence supports the fact that he targeted this grocery store in particular? Do you have any indications he has visited? He did recon at this grocery store. He had visited it before. Do you know when he left his home, his community in Broome, to come to Buffalo to do this? Any more details you can provide?
Yeah, there were markings on his rifle that indicated that he was a racist.
And when you say markings, can you elaborate on that?
This is what I've heard from police investigators, the district attorney, and others.
But what the markings were?
They were racially insensitive markings, which indicated that the shooter was at least racially insensitive. Secondly, Buffalo is the second largest city in New York State, and if you're from Broome County, you go to New York State, or you go to New York City, or you go to a place like Buffalo. And, Jefferson Avenue is very well established traditionally as an African-American community, and a proud African-American community. And that this individual from outside the area came to Jefferson Avenue, to a Tops Market is a regional supermarket chain. There is only one Tops Market in the African American community, and it's this one. So, given the preliminary evidence about the shooter, given other, indications of what his intent or what his proclivities are, it's going to add up to a very compelling case, not only in terms of first-degree murder and the charge that he has been charged with, but subsequent charges as it relates to federal charges as well.
Yeah, we heard the officials there at the press conference earlier today say, one official coming out and saying this was pure evil. It is straight up racially motivated hate crime. Congressman Brian Higgins of New York, thank you for joining us. I'm sorry what your district is having to go through right now. It's just, it's the worst of humanity, what we saw there, 10 people losing their lives due to just vile, senseless violence. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And we're going to be right back with Bishop Darius Priggen. He is the senior pastor at True Bethel Baptist Church and the president of the Buffalo City Council. You're in the CNN Newsroom.